G'day Ranker, welcome back. Todd Job here this week. We've been talking about this for quite a while, I don't know how long, but I certainly mentioned something like this in my book about a year ago, and we've been talking about it this year as well as something that is missing from search for ChatGPT, and that is for it to have its own browser. And the reason for that is when we search, Google has, I guess, trained us in a certain way to use their search engine as a find everything engine on the internet. So basically, the majority of search that goes through Google is things that we are already familiar with. It isn't necessarily research. So it's things like weather, it's things like news, it's things like your favorite brand. And when ChatGPT released its search plugin for Chrome, I don't know how long ago, I tried using it and it was horrible. And I said at the time, I think, what this lacks, this search experience from ChatGPT inside Chrome lacks, is that ability to find brands quickly. And I said, once they have their own browser, that will all change. I don't think so. I think they've stuffed up the browser release just quietly. If I had to, because I had a lot of hopes for this, obviously, as I said, because I thought it would be able to, do a lot of things that Chrome couldn't currently do, and it would see people move from using Google for brand search and into a OpenAI browser. No, it's really hard. Let me show you. Here's the search. Let's go cheap carpet. Now, there are a lot of amazing things about this browsing experience, but I'm not going to go through them. I'm going to point you at Matthew Berman's review of Atlas and have a look at what he says. But from a user's perspective, as a search experience, I'm not impressed. And okay, so basically I have to start a chat, right? And it tells me this stuff about cheap carpet. And then we've got these tabs up here. So we've got this one up here. And this is your traditional old school search. And you'll notice a couple of things, as Matthew Berman pointed out. It's powered by Google, presumably. Now we've got Australian result, not an Australian result, not an Australian result, not an Australian result, and not an Australian result. Now, if I'm in a search area of the browser, presumably. So let's just do another search. Let's see. Let's go for JB Hi-Fi as a brand search. And I'm not seeing any suggestions here. Drop down suggested searches. JB Hi-Fi. Okay, I want to go to the JB Hi-Fi website, right? So I'm just going to do that. That's a typical search. Now it's doing it, but look how slow it is. Number one, it wasn't that slow before. So I'm going to stop that because that's ridiculously slow. So I'm just going to do JB Hi-Fi. And I don't have... Okay, that's buggy. That didn't happen before. Okay, what about Kmart? Search results for Kmart. Oh, here we go. And we've got an AU there. It's not great. It's slow. What it has done before, search results for cheap carpet, it's been mixing up the search results. Like here. Search results for Kmart, cheap carpet options, and what? So it's like a chat. The search experience is like a chat. It's not like a search experience. Everything is in the one little silo, and that in and of itself is a bad experience. Apart from the fact that I'm getting irrelevant results. There's no geo-targeting. I'm logged into OpenAI. I've got history switched on. I haven't imported all my Chrome data or anything like that. Look, it's got some amazing agentic capabilities and those sorts of things, but this is not going to be what I thought it was. And you can see here I've got all my chat experience. It's a bit like a Chromium wrapper for ChatGPT, basically, is how I would see this. It hasn't given me any reason at all that I would want to switch to this, because I think it would be a time-consuming experience. Having said all that, I do think this is where we are heading, and that is to have agentic assistance in our search, purchasing, and those sorts of experiences. I think Google will do it a lot better, mainly because, I mean, Google's kind of trying to do that in the demonstrations of AI mode that I've seen. But, you know, the big thing here is speed, as it is with users on your site. It is how quickly can I find that thing that I want to get to and move on with my life. Everyone is looking for speed. We want instant answers. We are an instantaneous generation. We want things now, whether it be in the form of a search result or a pill. We want that thing now, right? So we don't want to wait. And this will not get mass take up as a browser in its current form. It's just not going to happen. I haven't used Perplexity's Comet browser. I'm hearing people say it's a similar sort of experience. I think Google's just got it down for, once again, brand search answers that you want now, like weather, news. This doesn't provide that from what I can see. I've only had a short play with it. As I say, I haven't imported all my other stuff in. Love to know what you think. You don't need a paid account to use this, I don't think. You just need an account, which is another barrier to entry. So there's all these barriers to entry for this. So I'm disappointed. The things it can do, it can interact with web pages because it's a ChatGPT experience within a Chromium browser. When you're on a website, you can ask questions about the website, all that sort of stuff that you would expect. But it's not going to make me want to use it as a browsing experience at all. Hopefully that's helpful. Love to know what you think. And if you've got a contrary opinion, or if you're finding this to be a fantastic tool, then please let me know. And please remember to like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, and yeah, it's got a long way to go. And we'll see you next week. Thanks very much. Bye.